2021 marks the anniversary of some of our favorite titles, new and old, so I'm hopping in the time machine and going on a tour of some of the biggest anniversaries we'll be seeing this year, largely based on US release dates. Let us know which ones you were surprised to see on the list, and remember to like and subscribe for deeper dives into these classic games throughout the year. Contrary to the name, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is actually the fifth main installment of Capcom's crossover series Marvel vs. Capcom, and released a whopping 11 years after its predecessor, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel 3 was the first game in the series to move away from 2D sprites and instead use 3D character models. Less than a year later, an updated version of the game, known as Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, was released with new characters, new stages, and various character tweaks and balances. Marvel 3's popularity boomed in the competitive scene, which hosts some of the largest fighting game tournaments in the world. Dark Souls was the spiritual successor to From Software's Demon's Souls, and the game took the budding Soul-style gameplay from niche interest to establishing it as its own subgenre of games. Its intricate and unforgiving combat sparked a new generation of games that just want you to die, and I mean that in the best way possible. Despite the difficulty, it is still considered to be one of the best games of all time and cemented From Software as masters of their craft. Released on October 18th, 2011, 2 years after the incredible Arkham Asylum, Arkham City threw us back into the world of the Dark Knight and sent us on a wild ride around a section of Gotham City in chaos. The ongoing rivalry of Batman and Joker, the large-scale world, a new adversary in the form of Hugo Strange, and the flawless voice acting of Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy lets this game live absolutely rent-free in my head even 10 years later. Arkham City went on to have multiple DLC missions, skin packs, maps, and more before the series continued to expand the Arkhamverse with another mainline installment, spin-offs, and, of course, the upcoming Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in 2022. On November 11th, 2011, we visited Skyrim's beautifully massive world filled to the brim with compelling stories, varied tasks, epic dragon battles, and so much more. Not only did Skyrim change the way we look at open world games, it has created lasting memes, an incredibly active mod scene, and has many still playing to this day on every platform under the sun. 3 DLCs were released for Skyrim, but in 2013, Bethesda announced that they'd be moving on from the title and would only be releasing minor updates to Skyrim as needed. Fast forward to present day, and Elder Scrolls 6 is confirmed, but no set release date has been given just yet. Despite the title, Kingdom Hearts 2 is actually the third installment of the Kingdom Hearts series, and picks up a year after the events of Chain of Memories, which came out on the Game Boy Advance. Once again, the game mashes up favorites from both Disney and Final Fantasy as you follow Sora, Donald, and Goofy in search of their friends Kairi and Riku while in an ongoing battle against the mysterious Organization 13. The Kingdom Hearts series has gone on to see a number of additional games released, including sequels, a VR game, a music rhythm title, mobile games, and mini bundles collecting the saga. On August 8th, 2006, we met Frank West, the part-time MacGyver and full-time photojournalist battling massive crowds of zombies and uncovering the truth. Dead Rising's zombie survival action and ability to use or combine a wide variety of objects into deadly weapons made it an incredibly popular Xbox 360 title, and the series went on to have 3 sequels. The original eventually made its way to just about everywhere, with versions on the Wii, on mobile, and then a re-release on Xbox One and PS4 5 years ago to celebrate its 10th anniversary. We even saw Frank West make an appearance in one of our earlier entries, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, as a playable character, although I'd honestly prefer a zombie horde over level 3 X-Factor Virgil any day. Our favorite head-smashing, chain-sawing, locust-fighting series began 15 years ago on November 7th, 2006. Gears of War offered a single-player or co-op campaign that introduced your fight for humanity against the Locust Horde, and also had a captivating multiplayer that became the second most played game on Xbox Live in 2007, with good old Halo 2 being at number 1. The game's stunning visuals and satisfyingly gory gunplay made it stand out from the pack and show the next generation of console shooters. Gears of War had 4 major updates that added a variety of maps and game modes, and the success of the title led to multiple sequels and prequels, and an entire studio set up to handle the future of the franchise. Devil May Cry introduced us to Dante, the pizza-eating demon hunter with a serious sibling rivalry, on October 16, 2001. Devil May Cry actually started out as an early version of Resident Evil 4, but was later made into its own independent title as its style strayed too far from the Resident Evil vision, and it turned out to be the perfect choice. The game's cool and demonic aesthetic, mixed with its combo-heavy and stylish combat, proved to be a winning formula, and a nice iteration on the survival horror genre Capcom had been so successful with. Devil May Cry went on to have 4 more mainline installments and directly inspired other iconic titles, such as Bayonetta and God of War. Now, all we need is that Dante-Bayonetta crossover. Halo Combat Evolved. Need I say more? November 15, 2001 was a historic event. It marked the beginning of the Halo series, turned Master Chief into a household name, and set the bar for console first-person shooters. Halo was an Xbox launch title, and the series went on to spawn many sequels, with Halo 5 being the most recent mainline installment. The next chapter, Halo Infinite, is currently in development and set to be released this year. Halo has not only become one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time, but also one of the highest in media as well, with animated short films, books, and more based on the Halo universe, including an upcoming TV show on Showtime. Not to mention the birth of community-made classics like Rooster Teeth's Red vs. Blue. A lot has been accomplished in 20 years, and I'm ready to join Chief for 20 more. Super Smash Bros. Was definitely a hit, but Melee was a home run. All playable characters from the first game made their return, and many new faces from numerous Nintendo franchises joined the popular crossover game. The success of Melee spanned from casual to competitive, with high-level tournaments and exhibitions. The series has gone on to see the release of 3 more mainline installments, with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being the most recent, which is still regularly updated with new characters. Pokemon is too monumental to leave out, so we're making an exception and going by Japan's release date for Pokemon Red and Blue. February 27, 1996 marked the beginning of the powerhouse franchise that would go on to expand across all types of media, and also become one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time. The Pokemon Company would also go on to create many different types of games across a wide variety of platforms and handhelds, making it accessible to nearly everyone. Whether you like RPGs, snapping pics of Pokemon, mini-games, or even puzzles, there's probably something for you. And you can't forget about mobile. How about a bonus anniversary? Pokemon Go is turning 5 this year. And to this day, Pokemon is still going strong and has already teased a 25th anniversary celebration for 2021. The Resident Evil series launched March 30th, 1996, and paved the way for not only the survival horror genre, but renewed interest in zombies and pop culture. We were introduced to Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and stars in their ongoing battle against the nefarious Umbrella Corporation. Capcom went on to create a powerhouse collection of games in the series, and with Resident Evil Village planned for release this year, it will add another game to the massive catalog for the series. That's if you include remakes. Resident Evil's legacy expands beyond games, as it's also an incredibly successful movie franchise, for better or for worse. First-person arena shooter Quake was released on July 22, 1996, and was the successor to ID Software's Doom series. Quake was made in a brand new game engine offering full real-time 3D rendering and more. Quake was also able to capitalize on the popularity of multiplayer death matches that was sparked by Doom, and finding online multiplayer matches was easier than ever. The first QuakeCon was organized a month later, with an annual event every year since that would give the competitive fanbase a place to meet up, compete, see the devs, and more. 25 years ago, we were introduced to the box-smashing Bandicoot with the killer dance moves. Crash Bandicoot's first game released on September 9th, 1996, and the series itself has had quite the lifespan since. A variety of titles were released from 97 to 2010, including a few fun kart racers and direct sequels, but there was a 7-year hiatus before the 2017 release of the Insane Trilogy, which remastered the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games. A couple years later, we got a new remaster for Crash Team Racing and the next main installment of the series, Crash Bandicoot 4: It's About Time. Cultural icon Lara Croft made her debut with the release of Tomb Raider on November 14th, 1996. As the title suggests, you raid tombs, fight animals who were constantly trying to eat you, and solve dangerous puzzles in ancient ruins, all while dual-wielding pistols and just generally being a total badass. Tomb Raider's success inevitably led to many more games, movies, and cross-promotion with Lara herself, as she became one of the most recognizable video game protagonists of all time, earned multiple Guinness World Records, and pioneered strong female characters in games. The series went on to receive 12 mainline installments, not including mobile games and other spin-offs. The further back we go, the more prominent the arcade titles are going to be, and for many, arcades are synonymous with Street Fighter. Street Fighter II was released for arcade systems in March of 1991 and was the second installment in the Street Fighter series. SF2 introduced the concept of command-based special moves like the iconic Shoryuken, a 6-button configuration, a combo system, and a wider selection of unique characters. Capcom would go on to release numerous Street Fighter titles in the mainline series, as well as various spin-offs and game-changing crossover titles, such as Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. To this day, Street Fighter tournaments, exhibitions, and more are held by Capcom and the fighting game community. It's been 30 years since we first saw Sonic zipping and zooming around, collecting rings, and crushing Robotnik. Sonic was literally designed as a mascot for Sega and was a huge success as the release of the first game helped put the Genesis on the map as a must-have console at a time when it was competing with the likes of the SNES. Sonic has been hard at work since 1991, with over 75 Sonic titles in various forms being released, not including any appearances or crossovers like Super Smash Bros. Our second release date exception is for Zelda. The Legend of Zelda was released in Japan in February of 1986, but made its way to North America in July of '87 on the NES. This legendary action-adventure game introduced us to Link and his quest to save Hyrule and Princess Zelda. With its mix of puzzles, battle, and exploration, the Legend of Zelda series honed these core pillars and expanded to dozens of titles with even more iconic adventures such as Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, to name a few. And the legacy isn't stopping there, as fans patiently wait for the release of the Breath of the Wild sequel. In August of 1986, we met bounty hunter Samus Aran and joined her as she protected the galaxy from pirates and parasites. This action-adventure series really boomed in popularity with Super Metroid about 8 years later, but Metroid is still known for its dark atmosphere, immersive music, and mixture of shooting and platforming gameplay. With about a dozen titles under its belt, the Metroid series has seen various styles of gameplay, and the newest installment of the series, Metroid Prime 4, is still in the works. The new installments may be a little more story-driven than previous titles, based on job listings that popped up online in October of 2020, looking for someone to help write impactful stories. 35 years later, and Samus's adventures aren't done yet. Donkey Kong made his debut on July 31st, 1981, and was made to help Nintendo break into the North American market. The game not only introduced DK, but also introduced Jumpman, which is now, as we know him, Mario. DK and Mario would go on to be two of the most popular Nintendo characters, and the game itself would become one of the most popular arcade games of all time. Nintendo went on to release about 30 additional DK titles, including the popular Donkey Kong Country series and other favorites like Donkey Kong 64 and the DK Racing titles. 40 years ago, we learned just how hard it was for an innocent little frog to find its way home. Frogger was released on October 23, 1981 in arcades and had a straightforward objective: hop across traffic and a river with way too many logs to get all the frogs home safe. The success of Frogger led to the release of over 30 Frogger titles that spanned arcades, consoles, handhelds, mobile, and even casino games. The simple yet addictive format has held strong throughout the years and even made its way to pop culture in the form of cartoons and even an episode of Seinfeld. Quite a few games barely missed our 5-year increment criteria, such as the original GTA, although happy 20th to GTA 3, and other games like Mario, but all of them are just as important. As we grow older alongside our favorite games, it's nice to take a look back at where they started and to see how far they've come since then, much like us. So which game made you feel old and dusty? Let us know in the comments before you go searching for the Fountain of Youth. However, if you want to continue your stroll down memory lane, you should check out our video on all of GameSpot's choices for Game of the Year, starting from 1996. Can you guess which one was our first? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our channel first for all of the latest in gaming. See ya!